real fast. I'm like, yeah, make me a guts check then. Add guts to whatever you're trying to do because you want to beat them over the head with a crowbar because you're kind of trying to defend yourself. Metaphysicals, they stayed the exact same. They have a little bit different kind of context into them of like how they work, a little bit more weird. I want to get that idea. And I also made Donna Summers, which is a example character, and she's a young adult by the Norman's Prairie group. So the idea with her is that these are her basic attributes. She's actually pretty good at doing, like, she's pretty sneaky. She's really quick to anger, but she's also fairly empathetic, but she kind of goes off her own gut rather than anything logical or dramatic. She's not a very dramatic person. And the thing is, she has only dreams in metal. So dreams allow you to see the unseen, and metal lets you kind of, steal yourself in more ways than one. She's a very direct person. She's someone who is going to get in your face about things and yell at you about it. She can't really back it up at all because she's not actually that tough, but she can usually get other people to do it for you, or she's kind of getting behind you to do something else. She's a right bitch, but she's kind of the one who's going to tell it to you straight. And her quirks are that she's a hard partier, she's a massive bullshit detector, she's mousy, because I like the word mousy. Like, no, yeah, I don't know. I always liked mousy. I always think that's kind of a fun word. That's not anything. What the fuck is this? Oh, Roblox. What the fuck? Okay, I clicked on the wrong thing. What in God's name? Okay, no, we discovered the Roblox fandom here with mouse. No, go away. Oh no. Yeah, so I got her kind of basic character done. Everything works pretty well here. Characters can have a bit of uniqueness about them. I made a sample child and adult. I didn't really do senior because, like, okay, adult works, senior's gonna work. Their only weird thing with seniors is that they get a lot more quirks, and you're playing a senior if you know kind of exactly what you want to play. That's one of the big things. After that's done, I would also like to thank Snow Warning. They followed a few days ago, so thank you, Mr. Warning. I always like that. We're up to 84 followers. I think we're doing pretty decent here, considering I'm literally just a shit poster on the internet. It's actually phenomenal. I even have like one follower. It's truly amazing. Whereas they say, as I am hip to the kids, poggers. Do people say poggers anymore? I am out of it. I've always been out of the loop in that regard. So, all right. Let's see. We need to worry about heart, mind, and soul. So the current, kind of the idea of what I want to get done today is health, which health is going to be its own pretty unique thing. It's ready. It's in my head. I know how I want to do it. And the other one is conflicts. This is my goal for today. Health and conflicts. Health isn't going to be too complex. Well, conflicts is going to be a little bit weirder. If things go well, I may be able to actually even do the advancement system. I just wrap all of this up today. So that's the plan. Well, then, as they say, let's get down to business. So, nothing is truly immortal. Immortal in this wicked world. Nothing is truly immortal in this wicked world. As mankind is slave to the flesh, it actually is enslaved to their flesh. The mind and soul are also corruptible to outside influences. Cultists who come under fire, or actually, if I can fucking spell fire, or suffer duress. Suffer duress will incur. Do we want to call it strain? Nah, I'm feeling strain. Strain would be the right word, so it would be mental strain. Yeah, okay. All those who come under fire and suffer duress will incur strain. Strain which builds up as the it continues to suffer. It continues to continues to pursue their poor life choices. The cult. Strain comes in one of it would be four varieties. Strain comes in one of. Because what we can do is we can either make this really a little bit chunkier or we can make this a little bit lighter. I'm feeling a little chunkier just so we can play with it a little bit more. What we can do is blunt strain, blunt trauma, which is pretty much, quote, non-lethal damage. Actually, what we can do is split everything up into major strain and minor strain. Because if we go under major and minor strain, that means we have a little bit more mechanics to work with. And when you have a little bit more to work with, that means you have a little bit more to play around with. So, major strain will be things like lethal force. Actually, it would be lethal trauma. What would be a mental? What would be severe mental strain? What would you call that? Let's ask some words. Let's go to question time. Let's see who's here. Good word for severe. There we go. Good word for severe mental strain. Let's see how many times people say insanity, even though I don't want really insanity. Minor strain, we can do blunt trauma. Well, this would be... What would be advanced stress? Like, something beyond stress. Okay, good start. Good start. Severe mental strain. What's a good woman? Well, I do have a history with that. I don't believe that is quite what I'm looking for. Anguish works. Actually, anguish could work. Let's see what the diamond has to say about things. Not quite what I was looking for, so we'll go with anguish. Actually, what we can do is we can go for anguish. And then we have to do our soul, which would be our soul damage. Actually, no. There we go. Strain comes in one of two varieties: major and minor. Major strain. Major strain is a significant detriment to the character to the cultists they have suffered. Let's see. Major strain is a significant detriment to the cultist, forcing them to take a moment and reevaluate their current situation. Let's see. It's major strain, significant detriment to the cultists, impacting their performance in a major way by reducing all checks by -2. Minor strain is a lesser detriment to the cult. Actually, is a hindrance. Is a hindrance, but does not hinder. Actually, is a hindrance, but does not affect. Does not affect the cultists in a major fashion. However, if the cultists were to sustain the major strain, they would actually convert all minor strain into major strain. You're going to take a lot of minor strain, however, not quite. I want actually with technically anguish is right here. The idea is I want to split it up, because if I go with here, my idea is you're going to have 3 tracks of health, effectively. You're going to have your mental, you're going to have your physical, and your soul. So, I think the best way to kind of get an idea of it, if I... let's see. So, let's say for mental, for example, I just take basic stress. I'm stressing out a little bit. What's going to happen is I'm going to effectively take a half circle here. The idea is, let's say for mental, I'm only taking half a box of damage, you could say. It's like, oh no, I'm under pain. However, I were to take full anguish. I were to suffer from anguish, something as terrible has gone on, and my mental state is rapidly deteriorating, I'm going to fill in a full box, effectively. The problem is, if I have minor strain before that, that also gets filled in. So it's the idea of, you can take a lot of stress, and it's not going to really affect you. However, if you take that one big piece of anguish, things are going to go really badly, really quickly. And that same kind of goes for physical. So it's the idea of, like, if you get the shit kicked out of you, you're not going to feel too hard. And then when you get a knife in the gut, it's like, yeah, you're not really going to do much. Like, you're not having a good time. The only one that's different like that is soul, because I can't really think of a good way to say soul strain. Actually, let me see. Let's see. Into physical So yeah. I'll convert all minor strain into major strands. So each cultist. Do I want to build up the boxes? Yeah, I think building up the boxes by their dice would be probably the most apt way of doing things, I believe. So we want to do this correctly. So each cultist strain is each cultist has 3 types of strain. 3 types of strain: physical, mental, and anima. Anima, i.e., their soul. Physical strain represents bodily health, and ability to shake off injury. Mental strain represents mood and inability to not succumb to negativity or depression. Anima strain is the cultist's immortal soul being chipped away. Is the cultist's immortal soul. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. 3 types of strain: physical, mental, anima, physical. So okay. And then we're going to have to split it up into physical strain. Do we actually want to do that? Major physical. Actually, how do I want to word this? It's my favorite part of the endeavor, where I get to look at things and debate, like, is wording right? So I put you down here. Okay, so impacting the performance in major ways, reducing all checks by -2, minor strain. Okay, 3. What we can do is do physical strain. A cultist physical strain. Physical strain affects how they deal with injury, sickness, and assaults. Injury and sickness. Actually, no. We want to do physical strain. Physical strain. Physical strain is you have your blood die plus meat. Be blood plus meat die. Would be meat die boxes. I'm gonna have to put an example down here. I do know that. Because I can see it in my head how it looks. And I can draw it out how it looks, but wording it's going to be hard. But I think when people actually see it, it's not going to be as complicated. A blood die plus meat die. Should any strain reach maximum? Actually, should any strain be fully filled? Fully filled by their major strain. Should any type of strain be completely filled? Be filled by a major strain. the cultist will succumb. We'll go with the other. Will succumb to it. Being removed from play until they are fully healed. Being removed from play. Being removed from use as they are either dead. Being removed from use as they are either dead, useless, or a simple husk of a person. Let's see. Physical strain, blood die plus meat die. And then we do mental strain, which is going to be your psych die plus would be dreams. I think it would be dreams would probably be the most accurate. Veil of reality, may live happy memories, experience grand terrors. I kind of want to have actually no. This would be a personal. This would be a personal thing. That's a good way. We could do actually psych plus cognition. That could actually work. So it would be cognition plus psych, because being metaphysical isn't going to really save you in that regard. And your anima strain is going to be entirely based on highest metaphysical die. So the idea here is if your blood, let's say your blood is D8 and your meat is D4, you're going to have 12 physical strain boxes. And that means you can technically, if you fill all of them up to 11, you can be taking a -22 to all of your actions. You are on death's door at that point, but you're still alive, mind you. You are not exactly healthy by any stretch of the imagination, but alive. Yeah, there comes a point where it's like you're pretty useless doing anything, but you're still breathing, still walking around and able to, stand. Let's see, okay, animal strain, okay. Okay, how do I want to do this? Okay, actually, physical major strain. I mean, is lethal force. Is lethal force. While minor strain is. I'm gonna have to come up with different words for this. Minor strain is. We'll have to come up. I know I have to come up with a better word here, but I don't quite know how I want to do it because I'm using the word strain way too often. Physical major strain is lethal force, while minor strain is non-lethal or slow or infectious. Is non-lethal or infectious injury. Slowly chipping away at the cultist's life. That reminds me, fashion, comma, if the cultist were to is a hindrance but not in any major fashion, But if the cultists rolls over the total amount of strain they have, the strain they possess, it will convert to major strain. That's going to need an explanation. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert footnote right here. So what we want to do is, how do we want to word this? Okay. For example, I have 6 major strain. Actually, I have 6 physical strain. Hello, phone. This and take 7 minor physical strain. In total, I would fill in all of my physical strain. It's minor, and mark one as a major strain. Kind of like how blunt damage works in World of Darkness. Why? Because I think that's going to probably work best for what I'm going for right now. Because if I go for anything more exciting than this, I don't really think it's going to work. However, the fact that now I have 3 new resources to work with, that means I can use those later when we get to Mysticality. And we can actually start really abusing those. And that's okay with me. Because more mechanics is sometimes, more things to play with is sometimes good. But you have to make sure that they always play into each other. Slowly chipping with cultist life. Mental major is absolute agony or abject. Where the hell did it? Or abject anguish, which is absolute anguish as they succumb into despair. Actually, anguish as they succumb to their emotions. Not menstrual, no, mental. Why did you autocorrect to menstrual? Mental major strain is absolute emotional anguish, while minor strain is stress or emotional swings. Finally, anima major strain is fundamental injury. Actually, no. Soul power. Being minor strain is it being temporarily hampered. We can actually change this anima strain to total of all metaphysical dice. So at most, a young adult's going to have 8. So let me actually just do the numbers real fast. We want to go back up to... So children would have 4, 10. They would have 18. That's a little bit high. Yeah, I think I'm not going to do that. I think highest, because they would have 18. You would have 8. You would have 4. And you'd have 12. You know what? I think that works. I think that works a little bit too well. Because I don't want, kids are not, the idea with kids is that they have, a pretty large, hefty metaphysical sense. They're the ones who are going to have really high attributes and really weird things. The problem is that they are children, and they have, most of their things are going to be D4s that aren't going to be changing. It's like, ta-da, sorry, Munchkin, you literally are hopeless at a vast majority of things. Because you're a child. And they also have garbage quirks. So I think that I need to check for I'll have to check for characters and see how this works. Because she would have 8 anima. Let's see, she would have 8 anima, 6 physical, and 14. She'd have a total of 14 mental. But I kind of want that because you're going to be taking mental stress is just pretty easy to get a hold of. That is quite literally, I want you to hand out mental stress very easily as you just get stressed the fuck out. And just that slow, insidious. Oh no. Oh goodness. People are talking about politics when they shouldn't be. Let's see, major strain. I'm gonna leave a note. I'm gonna leave a note for myself here. Remember, I'm gonna change some names around. All right, that's just something I'll do. And my neighbor is baking something. Can't tell what they're baking though. Some good, whatever it is. Cookies, maybe? No, can't be cookies. I know the smell of cookies. Cinnamony? Is that a little bit of cinnamon I smell? You making carrot? Bitch, are you making carrot cake? Damn, I want some carrot cake now. That's one of those foods that I really enjoy having, but I never actually have any there's no justification to go out of my way to get carrot cake, but I really love carrot cake. And nobody ever sells it because it's old man food, and unfortunately I'm an old man secretly in a boy's body. It's like, god damn it. Okay, so we need to do conflicts now. Okay. Conflicts. During the cult's final days. During the cult's final days, they will undergo a massive transformation. They will undergo a significant change. Change which will no doubt bring about conflict and the dangers that come with it. Conflict in dark corners and old tomes is handled very simply rather than being a strict system of combat. It is instead an abstraction of moments of intense feelings and dangerous outcomes. You want to win in a fight in this game, draw a gun on the opponent and shoot them. That is how you win a fight. You kill people. I want things to be very quick in this game. Conflict in Dark Tone is handled very simply, rather than be a strict system of combat. It is instead an abstraction of moments and intense feelings. Moments of intense actions and dangerous outcomes. When a cultist chooses when a tense situation begins, each cultist rolls their steps. Actually, the steps steps and when tense situation begins, each rolls a steps check. A steps check with their preferred personal attribute. With a personal attribute. This represents who is acting first in the scene. Who is acting first in the scene? Okay, so I'm trying to envision this in my head. I'm walking down the street. I take a corner into an alleyway. There's someone there. He draws a knife on me. What am I gonna do? We both roll our steps, and we both roll this. Okay, what I'm gonna do? I get the advantage. I want to punch him in the face. Just bop him in the head. Without really. This represents who's acting first in the scene. When a character seizes the initiative, they have the opportunity to act, performing a simple action. They have the opportunity to act, performing a simple action. This action is against another character. They will roll an opposed check. Check to see who is victorious. Let's see who is successful in clearing. Let's see who is successful. Actually, see if they are successful or not. And then we want to. That is pretty much the epitome of what conflicts look like. However, I think we obviously need to add a little bit more to give it a little bit more context. I don't want this to be complicated because this isn't the point of the game. The point of the game is to roleplay the, tragic downfall of this cult. Or, the tragic, everything. Water. Bam, bam. During the cult's final days, a significant change which no doubt bring about conflict stages to around them. Yeah. At its core, that is the entirety of conflict. Of conflicts. A series of moments and times that reflect how and what the ensuing what the cultists managed to perform to do during a few moments time. But we want to make this a little bit more complicated. Betting, losing, gambling, and actually losing. Conflicts are abstract. but each one has a but each conflict has a resolution at the end of it. A knife enters the gut. A person is convinced. A problem is solved. However, there will always be pushback. Or something to overcome. No, this rarely means I don't want it to be like, okay, you get actually want to damn it. Injury, damage, and stress. Actually, injury and stress. The cultists engaging in these activities are often competing against a set of strains which the opposition possesses. These strains are similar to theirs, and must be reduced to a point to which they claim victory, or force their opponent to relent. When successfully damaging another character, the cultist will choose one of their dice to be the damage. Actually, let's. How do I want to do this? Because one of the ideas of how I'm thinking about doing it is the fact that you roll your dice. So I'll grab out, let's say I'm rolling 2d8 and a d6. So I'm using a little bit of my metaphysical. I roll a 5, 4, and a 5. So pretty much what I want to do is I have to choose one of these to be like, that is my damage. So, okay. Actually, no. I know what to do. You'd have to choose one of your attributes, what you're attacking with. So it'd be one of your body. It'd be your body attribute. Your body or your metaphysical or your person. Okay, I know. Ha. Notepad knows what he's doing for once. Damage. The cultist will choose the dice to the choose the dice of the appropriate attribute. And successfully damaging another character, the tool will choose the dice of the appropriate attribute and, quote, deal that damage to the character. Physical injury is derived from the body by the body attribute. Actually, no, the born attribute. Mental strain is derived from the personal attribute. Anima strain is derived from the physical attribute. So I'm hoping what this does, the goal here is I roll my 2d8 plus 6. I am my attempt is I'm going, like, let's say, actually here, do I have a d10 somewhere in here? Come on, do I have a d10? No, actually I have a d12. Haha. Okay. let's say I'm rolling D12. Yeah, I'll write it down for myself more than anything. So let's say I'm attacking someone with a knife. I'm going to stab this person because I do not like them. And I have 12 muscle. I am a strong person. But I have a D8 anger, and I have a D6 in my meat. Rage. I'm very angry. But I'm attacking them physically. So I'm going to roll my dice. I rolled an 8 on my D8, a 4 on my meat, and only a 5 on my muscle. I beat them. I beat them still. I got a good 8 on my anger, but I'm only going to do 5 damage because that's what my muscle rolled. However, if I was saying, kind of trying to intimidate somebody, I would do 8 damage because that's what my 1 dice did. So that's pretty good. I think that's going to work. Deal damage, appropriate attribute, and deal damage to the character, which also allows... That could actually do some interesting things when you come to the advantage system, because the advantage system, what it'll do is you pretty much just roll an extra d6 on top of everything, and if you have a disadvantage, you get rid of the lowest, and if you have an advantage, you get rid of... No, if you have advantage, you get rid of the lowest. If you have disadvantage, you get rid of the highest. However, with this, what we can do is, if I roll a 1 on there, I still rolled that, and I can actually sub out that dice for what it is. I should put that as a note. Appropriate attribute and deal damage. So actually, we want to put a footnote here. Put the note there. Footnote: the if advantage / disadvantage were to take a dice to replace the dice. Replace the die. That dice is now that advantage / disadvantage dice. So let's say on my assortment here, I rolled let's say a 2 on my D8. Actually, no, we want to do... So we got to roll an 8 on our D8. We only rolled a 1 on our D12. We rolled a 3 on our D6. But my advantage dice rolled a 6. I'm like, well, I'm going to obviously sub out my lowest dice. So I have to sub out that D12 for a 6. My muscle is now that D6. I'm going to do 6 strain. I'm going to do 6 strain of damage instead of just 1. It can get a little messy when you have multiple dice, but it should still work. It'll be a little bit of bookkeeping, but I'm pretty sure it'll work. Do that damage to the character derived from the born attribute, physical attribute. Okay. Actually, we want to do betting. Gambling. The cultist in desperation can attempt to increase, to better their odds by increasing the strain of their other attribute, by increasing strength, by increasing... Do I want to add in the gambling mechanic? I don't really think the gambling mechanic would be appropriate. So what we need to do, though, is we need to add in a note right here is if the damage is minor or major, depends on what on what the action being used is. Used is if a cultist simply punches someone, it'd be minor strain. But if they stab someone, or if they stab someone in the gut, it'd be major strain. Which does mean you can technically kill someone very easily in this game. And that's on purpose, because you're a normal person. Like, that's one of the advantages of, like, having, like, a really high metaphysical meat, is that you're just enduring. Like, you're just a tough fucker who's, like, just really hard to kill. Like, yeah, I'm not going down that easy. Let's see. It's not the attribute. Stab someone gut. It would be, actually, it would be. We want to be a little bit. I'm very bad about adding in, you know, the apostrophes. You know, technically I shouldn't. That's it's kind of a no-no, but I do it a lot just because it's very easy. And conjunctions, that's the word I'm looking for. It's very easy to add in conjunctions. I technically shouldn't be doing that, but I do because me lazy. I feel like I want to add something else here. I don't know what I want to add. Like, half of me wants to add the gambling mechanic, because the idea of the gambling mechanic is pretty simple. It is, you expend X health, you know, X strain, then get advantage. Then you'd pretty much just get, you know, flat plus, you know, plus X. But the, you know, pretty much you just get it for a little bit more. However, you're kind of building up stress. However, the quirk would be, I'm going to, you know, I'm stabbing someone. I can't use my body. I have to use, you know, either my, you know, I have to use either my mental. I have to use mental, or I have to use something else to kind of, like, I'm betting the fact that I'm going to hit you with this in exchange for my own health. How to do that, I don't know yet, because it's not like a flawless thing in my own mind. I might debate. I'll debate on that probably. I think that's kind of the only way I can really do that. So probably slap an example and, like, kind of an idea here, a footnote here, and then slap an image right here. I think that worked pretty solidly. Change, and that's gonna be some name changing, and because names are important. Always remember that, folks. Names are very important. This does actually bring up the fact that we need conflicts. Oh, the equipment. I forgot about that. How hardcore do we want the equipment to be? Half me just wants to make it. Actually, you know what? We're gonna make it a side. We're gonna make it a side note. On side note, equipment. Actually, no, I think it's a good idea to add an equipment. Is equipment important in this situation? I don't really think so, because it's how abstract combat already is. But no, I need to do it. So, okay. Equipment. Actually, what we need to do is. Actually, no. What we'll do is side note lethal tools, tools of the trade, dark corners, and old tomes. Old tomes is not a game about strict combat or fighting. It's a game about the struggles of cult life, and the end of the story. But if weapons become important, consult the following. So we want to do small weapons. These weapons are easily concealable, and come in both lethal and non-lethal varieties. Examples include knives, hammers. What would be some other, like a knives, hammers, and what would be it? Not a sickle. What the fuck? Who brings a sickle? A knife, a hammer, and crowbars, etc. And examples include knives, hammers, crowbars. These tools, and then actually we want to do is non-weapon tools. Non-weapons. Sometimes the cultists find themselves in a situation where they must rely on a tool that is far less useful as a weapon than most. They have a -2 to all strain given. Actually, to all strain dealt. -2 to all strain dealt when using weapons. And these are things like frying pans, chairs, etc. Like, these are clearly not a weapon. This is me hitting you over the head with a book or something. Like this isn't a weapon. However, I can still do some damage with this. Like, it's not going to be as much. It's me throwing this is me grabbing like a lamp to crack over your head kind of thing. Like, it's not going to be like, is it going to hurt like hell? Yeah, it's going to hurt like hell, but it's like there's a good chance like it's not going to be as useful as something else. We actually want to do big weapons. A tool too large for a child to carry properly. These weapons too large for the weak. Carry these weapons require a muscle of D8 or higher to use, but have a +2 strain dealt when hitting someone with it. And these are things like a sledgehammer, what's a good, like, just me hit you with weapon that isn't sometimes usually a... awkward to carry around. And finally, lethal weapons. These tools are excessively lethal. Getting struck by one of them is effectively a death sentence. To the unwary. If they are brought into battle, in a fight, Make sure the cultists have it. Make sure that you have it. And these are things like gun. Actually, make sure you have it. If the weapon connects, roll. It would be blood plus metal. Roll blood plus metal. Attempting to beat the hit. If success, beat the hit. If the dice rolled to hit. If successful, they fill in all physical strain except one. Fill in all physical strain except to 1 plus metal. If failed, die. And these are things like gun. Actually, it would be firearms. Incredibly things like these are things like firearms are a good example, but dangerous tools such as a chainsaw also apply. So how this works, if I'm doing this correctly. So let's say someone hit. Let's say I roll and I rolled a 15. I rolled a 16. Oh no, they rolled and they scored a 17. Actually, I literally did roll a 17. My God, I'm really good at doing these examples. So they roll a 17. They've hit me. Shit, I'm not doing too good. I've been hit by a gun. I'm going to get shot. So I have to take whatever my metal and whatever my blood is, and I need to attempt to hit 17. I rolled a 7. I'm dead. Hopefully what this does is that it makes someone who is incredibly skilled with things like a gun really dangerous. But someone who isn't really skilled and who's kind of firing blindly, you kind of get a second chance. It's, if little Timmy brings up the family shotgun and fires and you just roll poorly, you still get a kind of another shot and not dying immediately. Especially if you hit whatever the metal is and you successfully hit it, you might take, for example, you have a physical strain of, let's say, 12. Your metal is 4. You still have 5 full strain left. You have managed to kind of survive that initial hit. Why is that important? It pretty much makes combat really fucking dangerous, even for someone who is really strong. Being able to, you can't really tank gunfire, or you can't really deal with those things, which makes those weapons all the more impactful. The gun is a terrifying thing to behold. It is a weapon that can change everything. Mostly because in a lot of Call of Cthulhu things, when the let me see, it's a Call of Cthulhu RPG. I wonder if I can find the good. I remember there was literally one where it's just someone pulling out with a goddamn Tommy gun and just like rat-a-tat-tat blasting them. Because that's a completely valid method of play, like in that game. Like that's like one of the amusing things about Call of Cthulhu. This is not only like a good method of approaching of that game, it is also sometimes the best way of approaching it. The simple act of just blasting a bitch is a very important part of it. If you excuse me, give me one moment. Yeah, I'm alive. Moshi moshi. Alright. But yeah, like, that's always kind of a confusing factor when it comes to Call of Cthulhu games, is sometimes the best thing to do is just pull a gun and shoot the monster. Just get a bitch. Hence why a lot of the options usually don't involve guns, because having a gun suddenly changes the entire dynamic of the game. You insert table 1 by 1. Actually, we don't want, we just want you to be normal text. It's not a game about combat or fighting. It's a game that struggles cult life and the story. But if weapons become important to the game, yeah, if you want to die in a gunfight with federal agents, that's your way of doing things. Everyone gets lethal weapons. Have fun. Don't get hit. You will die. So, okay, we've got conflict set up. I think conflict's going to work. Let's see if this is going to work. Yeah, injury and stress. And then that means we got the light equipment system. Yeah, we can do advancement today. I think that's perfectly reasonable. So we want to do the advance. Actually, fervor, devotion. Fervor and we'll call it fervor and devotion. Advancement. As the cultists near the dramatic near the dramatic ending, they will begin to amass fervor. Fervor is gained by following the cult's aspects. Discovering ancient mystics, ancient signs and mystic sigils, and committing oneself further into the cult's ultimate cause. Fervor is gained piecemeal. It is gained. Let's see it. Fervor is gained. Actually, how do I want to word this? As the cult is near the dramatic ending, they will begin to amass fervor. Fervor is gained by following the cult aspect or ancient signs and sigils, committing oneself to further the cult's ultimate cause. Actually, okay. At 10 fervor, the cultist converts it all into devotion. Devotion allows the fuck. How do I want to do that? Committing oneself further to the. Actually, okay. So you're going to get +1 fervor for following aspects. If we... So you get a +1 fervor for following... +1 fervor following the cult's aspects. Plus X fervor for finding mystic symbolism. And metaphysics. plus 5 fervor for committing actually a strong act for the cult, plus 3 fervor for committing a weak act for the cult. And I'm going to have to put a side note, which is like strong acts are things like killing someone. Weak acts are things like forcefully converting someone. It's how deep are you willing to go? It's kind of that constant thing of like, well, you can do this. Like you're getting more and more. How I want fervor to act like is that you're getting more and more into it. You're committing deeper and deeper and deeper to things that you can't really get out of at that point. Once you've stabbed someone to death a few times for the cult, you're looking at things. You're like, okay, guess I'm in this now. Guess there isn't really anything going out, but I can still kind of try to break out. But if I keep following the cult's aspects, you might be 12 devotion, you might be 12 fervor in, and you realize, oh no. Weak act. I'm gonna call it a weak act still. That's gonna be a naming thing right there. Weak act for the cult. And we're gonna get plus 2 fervor. Plus 2 fervor for actually want to do plus 3 fervor for conversing with the head of the cult. Plus 2 and plus 3 fervor for having it would be actually no, we want to do plus X fervor. What would be because pretty much what I want to do is like there's going to hit a point where it's like things are ramping up pretty rapidly, but you don't quite know if it's like, am I just seeing the cult or is this like me? Mostly because again, fervor is also a flat penalty to doing things. So, for seeing and listening to other things. Actually, there we go. No, I'll leave it at that. Fervor for seeing and listening. Seeing or listening. Because hey, when God shows up and he's like, hey, I want you to kill something, you'd be like, okay, yeah, this is perfectly reasonable going on right now. Let's see, fervor can be spent in one of two ways. First, fervor can be directly spent to increase the result of a check by plus one if a metaphysical attribute is being used. Actually, so actually, fervor can be spent in a variety of ways. Symbolizing the cult's influence. Actually, No, I forgot. I gotta add in. We want to do a -2 fervor for rejecting the cult's aspects. -3 fervor for breaking cult doctrine. And -5 fervor for rejecting sight and hearing. Because yes, you can technically level down in this system. Because I'm evil. Fervor can be spent in a variety of ways, symbolizing the cult's influence over the cultist and their perception of reality. Because we have to listen to the reality tyrant, which is still the coolest word I've ever heard. Like, just the coolest phrase. I just think that's just a cool thing of doing it. Being like, hey, what do you do for, what's your main antagonist of the game? Like, oh, it's just the reality tyrant. You know, it sounds cool. What can I say? Just what the hell? Every now and again, I go on VT, just not here. I mean, to give you the idea, I like going on VT exclusively for Western VTubers because I always find it interesting. And I've been linked here before, so I'm always been curious of like, am I being linked here today or no? But yeah, welcome to VT, by the way. VT is a nightmare zone filled by hollow bros. I don't trust them. Mostly, I don't trust anyone who likes Hololive because I still don't get the entire thing. But yeah, this is I don't get VTubers still. I'm trying my best to understand it. Says the man who is currently VTubing. Like I don't get it still. I really don't. I would like to believe I do, but it just doesn't really click with me all that well. Mostly because half the time it feels completely redundant to do any of these things, and it's like, oh, you're not really a character at this point. You're just a person. It's like, why? Okay, so. You're not funny. You're just a person. Influence over the cultist and their perception of reality. Okay, so we want to do 10 fervor. 10 fervor for a devotion, which is going to be your ability to actually increase your ability. X fervor for spells and abilities. Actually, for spells and gifts, because these are going to be kind of depending on how you want to influence things. So you have to kind of, but you still have to spend fervor for that. And one fervor for a +1 on a roll. On a roll using a metaphysical attribute, and 5 fervor to add any metaphysical attribute of the cultist choice. Which I'm gonna ask you to put a footnote in here because. Only one metaphysical attribute. Attributes may be applied to any roll. There we go. Control Shift 8, add-ons, sorted paragraph. God damn it. There, add-ons, sorted paragraph A to Z, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. strong act, fervor, and then we have to do this, which is going to be add-on sort of paragraph A to Z. I do actually find this interesting because usually when it does this, so when I say like plus X, it sometimes puts things differently because with the numbers, but I'm actually glad they fixed that because I know in a previous version of sort of paragraph A to Z, they would sort the numbers as well, so it'd be like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. So I'm glad they actually fixed that. That was an old bug. I guess I haven't done that for a while. Devotion for +1 on roll using metaphysical attribute to add a metaphysical attribute. I've been saying metaphysical too much. I need a funnier word for that. See, if I was a real VTuber TM, I would just say something like pee pee poo poo or something and become a dank Pepe meme, but unfortunately I'm not a real VTuber. I'm just some shit poster on the internet who's managed to LARP long enough to convince people to follow him for some reason. Okay. Devotion is a unique. Devotion can be used to increase a metaphysical attribute of a cultist by 1 step, or gain a new quirk, or increase a quirk by +2. And actually gain a new quirk at +0, or increase a quirk by +2. Yeah. Should a cultist ever fall below, actually ever achieve negative fervor, they must reduce a metaphysical attribute. They must reduce a metaphysical attribute by a step, increasing their by a step. They must reduce it by a step to reset it to 0. So pretty much, like, children can kind of hit that a little bit easier, but like adults kind of find it really difficult if you lose that fervor pretty hard. If a cultist has no more metaphysical attributes, they are but a regular person, free from the delusion of the cult, free from the influence of the cult. But they also lose any connection of abilities they may possess. They also lose any connection okay, but they also lose any advancements they've gained. They have gained through their time at the cult. So okay, so effectively how this is going to work in my beautiful disaster artist of a mind. The concept here is pretty simple. We're going to take your attributes. We're going to take all that. You can build it up. You're taking penalties. You're doing stuff. You want to build your fervor up because fervor is very valuable. However, if you ever achieve negative fervor, if you ever build up too fast, spend it all in one place, and you kind of start losing things, you're going to start losing your metaphysical attributes. Each one of those metaphysical attributes is effectively a freebie, but they're really hard to get. It's 10 fervor for effectively a devotion to increase it by a step. from D4 to D6 or a nothing to a D4. Like, they're not big, but they're also kind of your ability to mitigate some of that damage, which kind of doubles down the fact that you're gonna hit a point, if you are like really committed to it, where you're gonna lose everything. So if you've invested a lot of devotion into different quirks, if you invested a lot of spells to improve your health, or you did a bunch of things to make you better, suddenly they're all gone, just like that. All of them disappeared, and which could be lethal, could be incredibly lethal, especially if you have anima damage. You have soul damage, remember, it always is based around your metaphysical attributes. So if you have, say, a D4, if you have 2 D4s and you lose a D4, your 8 anima suddenly becomes 4 anima. And if you have 5 anima damage, guess what? You're dead. Yeah, you've perished. So it's kind of that kind of metaphorical gun to the head, where reducing all of your, if you want to truly escape the cult, if you truly want to go against it, what you have to do is you have to reduce all of your metaphysical attributes to 0, after which you increase everything to 0. You have to make sure, one, you have no anima damage, because that's lethal at that point. If you have any anima damage, like, you'll just get reduced to nothing. You have to make sure none of these abilities are actually affecting you, which could also be death. And then, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you can get out of there, because you can't gain fervor. Actually, I should make that as a note. They can no longer gain fervor either. They are anathema. They are anathema and must escape. However, if you get it, you get all the cool stuff. So you're kind of always encouraged to keep building your fervor and your devotion. Like, that's something you really want to do. Because if you don't, y'all gonna fucking die. And that sucks. Because dying is painful. So that works. So what I'm gonna do is, on Wednesday, I am going to do all the mysticality stuff. And that's going to be things like magic, like the strict insanity system, old tome, like kind of like what the tomes are doing, what mutations are like, and the idea of summoning, because that's always a big thing with, Call of Cthulhu RPGs, isn't it? It's the idea of like, oh, we're summoning an elder god. Oh no. Oh no, look. Oh no. Oh no. There's a monster. Oh no. Oh no! Like, there's just always these horrible things that need summoning of some variety, which is going to be the problem that you have to go through. You're going to be trying to bring about these things, which are terrible monsters that are going to be hunted down probably, and probably don't care much about you either, which is going to be the other issue, because, oh boy, we summoned a big meaty thing that's going to help us destroy our enemies. Why did it kill Ted? Oh god, it killed Ted. And now everyone is sad because Ted's dead. Thanks, you murdered him. So that should work for now. Probably fix up some of, I have to fix up these. These are just, this is going to be me staring at a document for the 2 hours being like, what name do I want? What name do I want? Google, Google, Google. What name do I want? What name do I want? Consult, 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 consult. Let's see. Is there anything fun and exciting on the slate? Well, 2 things, actually. Before I head out for today, I open this up. I do have the plannerino, you could say, for the pretty much my goal is tonight into tomorrow, as I'm going to try to get the Notepads Classroom up and running. Notepads Classroom is exactly kind of as it says. It's going to be me going over some game design stuff. I've had it recorded for a while now. It's just been mostly a game of, oh god, oh god, oh god, what do I do to make this work properly? And I think I have it. I just need to do some last minute downloading and stuff. Once that's out of the way, I no longer have to think about it. And once that is done, I'm good. One of the other major issues that I've been kind of facing is, if I go here, this is all in my Discord, by the way. So if you ever want to know what's going on with Notepad and the Notepad experience, go to the Discord. I have everything there. Let's see. Where are you? So I have the script for Shinobigami done. I have the script for Kunai Academy and Kamigakuri. All of those scripts are done. They're ready to be made into videos with the audio and everything. I'm currently in a weird place with the scripts. Like, I don't really have much else many other games that, like, strictly go over. Because I like to make a curious case of it first, and then make a little opinion on it. Because that's what the little opinions are, just a kind of just a summary of what I like. The only one that wasn't that was the quote Zweihander RPG, but I literally thought of that when I was taking a walk as a funny joke. That's literally it. So that's going to be that's on the kind of the chopping block in that regard. I'm looking forward to that. I'm curious what people actually think. In other news, actually, if I go here, somebody actually bought a game of mine. Someone actually bought Eagles and Rifles. I thought that was actually really cool, and I really enjoyed that. It's maybe not very impactful to many people, but it meant something to me. So whoever you are out there in this chaotic world of ours, thank you for making my day a little bit better. And people keep like nobody wants to buy Henshin. I might make Henshin free. Like, I honestly might make this like Henshin free. Just because, like, nobody's buying it. Like, nobody's, like, it's $2.50. Here's the thing. This game is $2.50. Like, this game is not actually that expensive. There are games that are in here for less, for like $15, and people buy it. I still don't really know, like, what people want. That's the thing that I always find fascinating. Like, nobody knows what the hell they want. I think that's, like, the big thing. Nobody knows what the fuck they want. And I've been trying to figure out what they do want to market to them, because I'm a soulless monster. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad and I hope you all had a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will catch you all on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we're gonna be ripping and tearing through Wednesday. I might do a Notepad Must Die, actually, on that, just to wrap as much as I can up in one fell swoop. Because once that's done, I don't really need to think about it too much. And if I get the majority of stuff done, I may be able I might just say screw it and power through it and just finish on Wednesday rather than my kind of suspected estimate of Friday. If I can finish it on Wednesday, we can start on things a little bit quicker. We'd move on straight to the Project Tactics stream would be the prelim stream anyway, would be on Friday then, which that could be fun. I don't know if it's gonna go well, but I'm happy with it. That's gonna be a fun one, I think, because Project Tactics is an oldie, like real old. That's about a year and a half old at this point, and it was one of those games that I really enjoyed, and I wish we could go over more. I wish I had more time, and I wish I had more effort, and I wish I knew what I knew now to really make that game good. I have a few ideas. Like, I want to add like a new class. I want to patch some things up with the troops. I want to make it give it a little bit more personality, and kind of commit to some aspects of it, and to make it a lot better. I think adding more stuff to it would be best. So, thank you all. I will catch you all on the flip side. Don't forget, this Saturday, Curious Case of Degeneracy. Twitch, do not ban me, I beg of you. Oh, God.